Hello and welcome back to SamiVReads. Haven't videotaped in about a month. I really have no excuse other than I got busy and was unmotivated to do it. But I was actively on my Bookstagram posting reviews on there. So make sure you follow me on my Bookstagram, so I'll follow that down below. And we're gonna do some November wrap up. I got through 14 books this month, which was a slow month for me. I was in a little bit of a reading slump, but I'm still very happy with that number. I have an arc in there that I reviewed, which I was putting off for a while. Two arcs in here actually that I got done. So the first book that I read, I actually wasn't sure I was gonna pick it up, and that is I can never pronounce this one. A Shadow in the Ember, which is the technical fourth book in the Blood and Ash series. It's like the prequel before Blood and Ash. And I love Blood and Ash. From Blood and Ash. The Blood and Ash series, sorry, I had to look down at my bookshelf where they are. I love the first two books of that series. The third book I did not really like at all. And that book kind of hints at this book, like some of they all tie in together through the third book and then this book. But I really enjoyed this book. I have seen a lot of reviews that people are posting that it's very similar to the Blood and Ash series. It's supposed to be similar. The same kind of trope. If you read the third book, you would know, like, Jennifer Armentrout hinted that it's going to be similar. Was there a lot of similarities? Yeah, but there was dragons in this one, which is a lot cooler. The love story is a little bit different. The betrayal in it was a little bit different. Like, it was the same premises of it, but it was a little bit different throughout. In total, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I was very surprised, and I'm excited because then that gets me excited for the series again, because I really did love the first two of the series. The next is Truth and Beard, which is the Winston Brothers series by Penny Reed. I love a good brother small town romance. Clearly, it's like one of my top tropes. It's my comfort reads. I love those books typically. I only give this 3 out of 5. I was not a huge fan of the story. Like, I felt like the conflict was childish, and yeah, just not a fan of the conflict that came about in it. However, will I read the other brothers? Maybe. There's other brothers series that I'm reading first, but I might pick it up if I read the right review, giving it praise. I might pick it up still. The next was an arc. It is called Lockdown on London Lane by Beth Reekels. She actually wrote, it's on Netflix. It's a book, and now that I'm going to talk about it, I'm not going to remember it, but it's The Kissing Booth. She wrote The Kissing Booth. That's what it was. She wrote The Kissing Booth, so I was excited to read this one. It's about like a building during COVID that gets put in lockdown. So I found it very confusing. I only gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. It was very confusing with some of the story arcs, and there was a couple story arcs I really loved and I wish I got more of, and there's some that I could care less about. But it was an interesting concept. I liked the way she wrote it. That's why I kind of gave it more than a 2. I don't like giving 0.5 ratings, but for this one I did, because I did think it was good, and it's just not my book, but it was written well. The next is The Day He Came Back by Penelope Ward. I listened to this on my Audible account. I believe it's for free on Audible, or I got it buy 2 get 1 free. Sorry, I got a cat, and she was sleeping beside me, but now she's playing with her mice, which have bells on them, so if you hear that, I'm sorry. The Day He Came Back by Penelope Ward is for the family. There's the cat. If you really want to know why I haven't filmed, this guy is the reason why I haven't filmed. So The Day He Came Back is about different social classes. So you start in the beginning, like you go back and forth from present and past. So in the past, the mother of the daughter, who's the heroine in the book, worked for the father's family. So the hero, his family in the book. And they fall in love that summer. And then there's some stuff that happens that tears them apart. And then years later, they find themselves at the same place again, meeting up with each other, and they have to work through all the issues. And it's really like soul wrenching. And I don't think I'm gonna be anything to win the book, but the father of the hero. Obviously it's later in life, he's going through some dementia, and I have some family members going through dementia, and the way the author wrote about dementia and like forgetting things and then sometimes remembering, just the way she wrote about that disease in general was really like spot on and well written, and I really enjoyed that aspect in the book. It was very relatable. So I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. The next book is Twisted Games. It's the second book in the Twisted series by Anna Hung, and I read this for Romancing the Reader's book club in November. It's the second book in the series. You don't need to read the first one. I haven't read the first one, and I enjoyed it. I think it's definitely talked up more than it's worth. I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It's good. It's about like a princess and her bodyguard romance, and it's good. I found the first half of the book was a lot more enjoyable than the second half. People talk this up like it was 5 out of 5 stars. I think that's why I rated it low, because I don't think I love bodyguard romances as much as everyone else does. Sometimes I find them like fake. The next is a really hype book as well in the dark romance community. It's Promises and Pomegranates by Sam Miller. So this is like a Persephone and Hades retelling. Well, not allegedly, that's what it is, but I guess I could see that. It's our hero takes a wife, so it's like a forced arranged marriage, which I love arranged marriages, and he's very dark, but he has a soft spot for her. He takes her to a town. There's some like family drama. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, just for the spice level alone. Sam Miller, I read, Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I read Hooked last month in October, and then around that time I was doing Hooked, that author was talking about how she's working on a co-write with Sam Miller, and they're very similar authors. I find them, a lot of people that like one like the other. Be Still My Heart, which I hope to read in December. I have it on my Kindle Unlimited, so I'm just waiting for the right mood read to pick it up. Working on a video for army romances. I hope to release in November. I didn't get through enough, and I don't feel like I have enough quality for that trope, because I love that trope. So I read this book, Saved in the Honor Bound series by Angel Payne. It is a romance on military, but it was so unbelievable. Like the hero, it's a second chance romance. The hero thought his like wife was kidnapped and sold to the sex trade. He ends up finding her in the jungle, and they have to work through their struggles. But the struggle is he's a dom, and I love like smutty reads, but this was just like so annoying. The conflict was annoying, the whole process of them not to be together because he was scared she was kidnapped, and then like the drug trade coming back. It was a very unbelievable, and like I read through it very, very fast. It was not a huge fan of it. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars for that, and that's kind of why I want to read more military romances, because I have some 5 out of 5 star reads in that genre, and then I have this one, and I don't feel like I have enough to like give the genre what it deserves just yet. I'm hoping to have that out in the new year though. The next is Fighting Silence by Ali Mortez. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. It is a fighting romance, like a friends to lovers romance. They be in high school, they go up, he starts fighting in the ring, working for a boxing ring. He goes pro. He starts losing his hearing throughout the book, so the couple struggle with that, and he deals with becoming deaf and being a fighter, and they both come from like very like rags to riches. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 out of 5 star. As I'm like remembering the book, I definitely think it's closer to a 4-star read than a 3-star read. It is part of a series where the other brothers are talked about. He's the oldest brother. But I found the only thing I had bad at this is he was very, I don't like when people don't take care of their health, and there was some of that in here that annoyed me, especially when he wants to make a career out of something, and this could be like a big downer for it. So are we shocked that my next arc is a rockstar romance? Because I'm not. I eat those up like crazy, and I feel like I solely only get arcs almost for rockstar romances because of how much I enjoy them. So Finding His Redemption is by Melanie Smith. I gave it 4 out of 5 star ratings. Shocking, not really. So this rockstar romance, it's a rock star who kind of had a bad go. He went to rehab. He's on a plane with this gentleman, and the gentleman's like, oh yeah, my sister used to be a big fan, but she's not anymore. And this guy, for some reason, can't get out of his head. He finds out where the sister works and goes and visits her. Turns out she works for a newspaper station or a magazine. Anyway, she writes articles. He finds out that she does that. And then he gets this his company gets a genius idea to do a redemption tour because his sales are really lacking. People don't believe that he's clean. People don't believe that he's sorry for everything he did, all the drugs, all like the mayhem he left behind. So he's like, I'll do this tour, but she has to go with me. So that's how the whole story goes. It's really cute. It's a really good take on a rock star romance where it's not as like, oh, she meets him on the backstage or he meets her at the concert. Like, she generally dislikes him, and you find out why she dislikes him in the book. This book is out already. I believe it's not on Kindle Unlimited, I don't believe, but I will double check. I'll put it down below if it is. If not, I'll give you the link to purchase it. I believe it's her first book, and she'll be writing more in the series, and I really enjoyed it. Next is Becoming Rain by K. Tucker. This is the second book in the Bearing Water series, the Water series, I think we call it. So Bearing Water was the first book in that series. I read that in October, I want to say. It was very good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This one I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This one is the friend in the first book, our hero's best friend in the first book that owns the shop. Is there. You learn through the first book that there's some sketchy stuff happening in that shop, some sketching ceilings. His uncle, so the hero in this book's uncle, brings him into the business finally. And through that, he gets some heat. So the heroine in this book is a private investigator. She's designed to be someone that the hero would pick up at the bar, meet. She doesn't get his interest right away. It's funny because what things that she gets his interest by are actual real things about her life, and they end up falling for each other. And then obviously some things at the fan, there's some betrayal, and you follow their love story throughout it. And I think it's really cute because she and him both fall for each other in like very real ways. K. Tucker is also another insta-buy person for me. The Simple Wild is my all-time favorite series of this year. Might be up there with favorite series ever. It's a very good book, and these are I'm just going through K. Tucker's library now. Towards the end of the month, I had my 5-star reads, which I'm really excited for because I got 2 5-star reads this month. The first one is Archer's Voice by Maya Sheridan. I wanted this forever because every review I read about it, I knew I would like everything about it. The heartbreak, the brooding, like grumpy sunshine, her running from a troubled past, small town vibes. That's like everything I love in a book lately. So I bought this a while ago, and it sat on my TBR for about a month and a half, which is really good for me because I knew I would which is like shocking because I knew I would love this book. So Archer, who's our hero, people think he's like daft. Like, he doesn't speak, he doesn't hear. So he actually doesn't hear, but he just chooses not to speak. He has a very troubled past. Our heroine is running from something that happened in her past and ends up stumbling upon the small town. It reminded me of, what is it called? Safe Haven. You know how the heroine, who plays by Juliette Hough, finds like a cabin and rents out and redoes the whole thing. That's kind of what like she did, where she comes and she starts working and she starts assimilating herself to this town because of a troubled past. They're not at all similar books. Just that aspect of it is what it reminded me of. I gave it 5 star reads. I sobbed during this. I felt so much for Archer. I really, really felt for him, and I felt for her. And there was a point towards like the middle end of this book that I wanted to throw it across the room. I thought they were dumb. There was no way of coming. This was the stupidest conflict, but the way the author wrote that conflict and continued it, it made sense that that conflict was there, and I really enjoyed it. Second last book is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle Jensen. It is free if you have Audible. I'll do another Audible reads and maybe a section where you do Audible free reads, because Audible started doing stuff in their library, kind of like Kindle Unlimited, where you're a subscriber, you get certain books for free. And The Bridge Kingdom and the sequel are in there, which is amazing because Audible is quite expensive. So I love that I can get some other books on there for free. Well, not for free, it was my subscription, which I enjoy. So The Bridge Kingdom has been on my TBR. I have it on my Kindle Unlimited. I've had it forever. fantasy romances are hard for me sometimes. Like fantasy in general, sometimes I have to be a mood reader for it. I'm a very contemporary romance, heart crushing romance, those kind of things. But I enjoyed the Bridge Kingdom. I enjoyed the romance, the betrayal. So she's set to kill the king. Like she's a queen, she's set to marry and kill the guy, and help her family invade their lands. And throughout the book, she discovers that maybe everything she was taught wasn't real. Does she like the guy? I don't want to give too much away because like there's a lot of cool twists in it, and I would hate to be the one to give it away because that kind of makes fantasy so good. But I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I did spoil the second book a little bit for me to see. I heard the romance isn't as big in the second book because of what happened in the first book, and that really discourages me from reading it because I do need romance in my life. Last book is a 5-star read, and it's More Than Her, which is the More Than series by Jay McLean, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 star. One of my Bookstagram friends, Kat Reads, said this book was like one of her favorites of the series. Like she really enjoyed it, so it like pushed me to read it. It was so cute. I really enjoyed it. It's about, so it's like a friend group is how this kind of goes from here. And the second chance romance, so he goes on a date with her. Like he, first of all, the hero like begs this girl to go on a date with her. She finally agrees, they have a great night, and like he doesn't call her back even though he said he would, and she's very upset about it. So a couple maybe half a year later, they're at a party again, he's trying to do it and she's not giving him that chance, and he's like trying really hard. So finally he breaks her down and they go out, and they work through all their issues. It is like soul-wrenching. More Than Her, and then there's, I finished it, filmed this a couple days in December, but there's a second book. So like it's a series and you can read them as standalones, but there's 2 books in this series that are like this couple, and you have to read them in order. And seeing the growth of these characters throughout that book is great. And that's why I love Jay McLean. She's also another, Jay McLean, Kay Tucker, and Molly McAdams are like insta buy authors for me. Like I haven't read books that I've given lower than 4 stars for, which is saying a lot because I'm now reading through these artists, these authors full catalogs. So that is my November wrap up for the books. I had a good, I had a reading slump in this month, clearly, because I normally get through more, but I found some really good 5-star reads towards the end. I'm very happy about Archer's Voice. I think I'll be doing a wrap up of my 5-star reads throughout this year, and Archer's Voice will definitely be on there, and I'll talk more about it. If you like to hurt, this is a good one, but like a good hurt, like not like the second book in the Ravenhood series. Like it's a good hurt, not that I enjoyed very much. So thank you for putting up to me. If you made it this far in the video, please like and subscribe. That means a lot to me. Leave some comments if there's some books I should read in December. I'm reading Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey for Romancing the Readers Book Club. If you're not a part of that, I'll leave her Instagram below because you have to be friends with her on Instagram to get to the Discord chat. That's how we're doing book club, and there's like lives and there's a really good community. I don't speak as much as I should on there on the Discord just because I don't know what to say, but there's some lovely ladies on there, a good community, and I want to read some Christmassy books, so give me some recommendations other than Window Shopping to read. I also have The Christmas Blanket by Candy Snyder. I just read through like mass read a bunch of Candy Snyder books this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if she also adds up the Molly McAdams, Kay Tucker, Jay McLean list, because I think I'll also like her writing. So thank you so much for sticking around, and I will hopefully see you next week if I can post something. I have some ideas of some Wattpad videos or military romance coming soon.